want me to sing, you're going to have to prompt me, okay? What happened? There we go. Okay. Oh, wow.
We're recording already, Gwen. I did it.
All right. Shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I will be all right. I will be guiding you through the Froggy Friday. It is different today. We are here to celebrate Connie, and it's going to be the Froggy Friday conducted by the practitioners. The practitioners to be the students who are in Practitioner 2 year. So welcome everyone. What is Froggy Friday? So Froggy Friday took this name from Connie. I didn't even know myself. Sorry, I'm trying to stop sharing now. Oh gosh. Allow me to stop sharing. If someone can stop sharing for me, maybe. I can't click on the slide. Oops. Here I am. So Froggy Friday takes this name from what Connie used to tell us. And I didn't even know why she would sign all her messages with a frog. And just 2 years ago, I finally realized what the frog meant to Connie. And the frog is the full realization of God. And so this is why today we are here to celebrate Connie, who transitioned 2 years ago. And this Froggy Friday is a gathering for CSL Kenya and for the community of Science of Mind. We come here together to remind, to pray together, to remind beautiful truths of Science of Mind, to have guests, to share. Everyone is bringing something every 2 weeks when we are together. And so today I will now leave the floor to Kerith because she is going to talk about who Connie was. So Kerith, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you. I'd been asked to share about who Connie was. And I remember that when I was slotted to share on who she was, I was not in class. And when the other students let me know that I was the person to share on who she was, I really resisted that because I thought maybe Nancy or Alfred better knew Connie and they'd be better placed to share on who Connie was. And so I wrote a very nice piece on who Connie was. And if it was being examined, I am sure I would have aced it. And when I was reading back on it yesterday morning, and I went into meditation. I shared this with my classmates yesterday. I went into meditation and I heard Connie saying, really? Really? That's what you're going to, that's how you remember me? And I had to be in that. And so I'm going to share from my heart who I thought Connie was. It's not an intellectual exercise. It's a sharing from the heart on who I remember her as. Connie was a reverend, a minister with the CSL community in Alberta, Canada. And she moved to Kenya in 2007. She answered a call of God and went to a place she'd never been to before. She didn't know anyone on the faith that God had called her to do this. And she came and established Center for Spiritual Living Kenya. And if you've never met that community, I look back at one of the events we had at her house, and I look back at the people seated, a mishmash of different people, and how Connie attracted this, I don't even know, this mix of people from all over the country is still, it's a mystery to me. Connie, today we are celebrating 2 years since she transitioned, because it's a celebration of her life. Connie to me was a mirror. When I imagined in my head the kind of person I would want to be, the kind of woman that I imagined myself to be if I dared to be bold, I saw Connie. Connie was not a traditional African woman. Connie was everything we were taught not to be. Everything we were taught an African woman should not be. But yet, a huge percentage of the CSL members in Kenya are women. And I think in Connie, we saw a woman that was strong, that was bold, that was courageous, that dared to stand up for what she believed in. Connie used her voice, and she didn't care what you thought. And she told us, she told us, truth always stands on its own. And I think in her, we saw the woman. And I'm sorry, I'm not excluding the men. We saw the kind of person that we would want to be. Connie, the best way I can describe Connie is Connie was fire and Connie was ice. She was all that and then some. Connie was my hero. She was my hero. And Connie, I don't like to say Connie was, because she still is. When you look at this community, we continue to see who Connie was. And when I think of Connie, this one song comes to mind. It's Frank Sinatra's song, I Did It My Way, because Connie did it her way. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerith. That was beautiful. So actually, this is who we are. Sorry. Kerith was talking about Connie. So I just mentioned before that today this Froggy Friday was going to be led by the practitioners, and I didn't mention the names of the practitioner. So we have Kerith, we have Paul, we have myself, Flaminia, we have Alfred, we have Nancy, and we have Agnes. So every one of us today is going to bring forward a piece of Connie. This is a beautiful picture of who Connie was, and she was sharing with Kerith. And it was one of the beautiful pictures that was shared and is here to show the face of Connie for those who maybe haven't met her, and just to remind ourselves her beautiful face. And now I pass it on to Gwen for our introductory song.
Oh, my
Gwen.
pleasure. This is one of Connie's favorite songs, and she often used it, and it was her her CSLK anthem, and so that's why we include it in Froggy Friday. So let's sing. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within our soul. We are a part of one another. We're born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. We are one people, one strong heartbeat, just one spirit shining bright within our soul. We are a part of one another, born to love each other. When it's all said and done, we are one. When it's all said and done, we are one. And I want you to know Reverend Barb is just still resting her voice, so we are going to honor her in her quiet mode, knowing that she is loved and received.
Thank you, Gwen. We are now going to continue with an opening treatment, and today is going to be a different opening treatment because it's not going to be done just by one person, but it's going to be done by all of us, by the 6 practitioners. And so I pass on my word to Kerith.
Thank you, Flaminia. Okay, join me. Join me as I move my attention inward to the heart of my being. I am aware that this moment is perfect, that it is all there is. And this one moment is infilled with the one powerful force that I know as God. The one God that lives itself through all of its creation, the mystery of life itself. It is the Alpha and Omega. It has no beginning and it has no end. And this perfect creator, it lives itself through each and every one of us. There is no God in us, which is immersed in its beingness, inseparable from it. Its truth is our truth. In it we live, we move, and have our being. It's the creator and also its creation. And I pass it over to Flaminia.
And so as I know this truth, I speak my word. And I claim the connection among all of us. I claim the perfect unfoldment of this Froggy Friday and all Froggy Fridays to be. I claim the memory of Connie, who lives within us. I claim the depth of our consciousness, of our awareness, and our wisdom as we are guided. And so I pass it on to Paul.
And with this realization that there is only God, who is perfect, whole, and complete, I claim the peace and calmness that is a quality of God. I claim that right here and right now, we enjoy this peace, this calmness, this realization that it's all perfect, whole, and complete. And I pass it on to Nancy.
I know and affirm that as every idea is born in the mind of spirit, this service too is an infinite idea taking form. This is the divine mind of God, sharing itself through each one of us, allowing good and more good to come into the lives of each one present and each one we touch. Every interaction today brings about a deep understanding of oneness and this time together unfolds in perfection. We open up ourselves and allow inspiration, love, and wisdom to flow. And I pass it on to Alfred.
Light here, light now. I know that as we start this service, we are grounded and we are guided by the spirit within, the spirit of love, the spirit of light, the spirit of openness, and the spirit of expansions for our life. I know we are guided by this spirit that we call God. I know that all is well, perfect and complete. As we begin, I pass it to Agnes.
And I am grateful for knowing this truth. It's the truth of all of us. And I release my word to the law, knowing that it's already done. And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
And I invite you here to just stay with these beautiful realizations in a moment of peace and quiet, as Paul is going to lead us into meditation.
Thank you, Flaminia. And I invite all of us just to be calm and to help us to become, just take a deep breath in and release it with a sigh. Another deep breath in and exhale. One more time, a deep breath in. Exhale. And as we exhale, let's go deep, deep to the center of our being, where we know that there is that connection with the one and only Spirit, the one and only God. And in this realization that there is only one and we are one with His Spirit, let us calmly enjoy this realization. Let us calmly bring to our awareness that the peace and calmness of God is right here with us. And we are the fountains of this peace. Let us take 3 or 4 minutes to enjoy this truth. And to experience it. Don't bother yourself with the timing. I'll be in charge of that. And should your mind wander, don't fight it. Just let it be. And just bring it back to the awareness that we are the fountains of peace, as God is perfect, whole, complete. Let's take this moment to enjoy this truth. Let us take a deep breath in. Exhale. And gently bring our awareness back into this service. And as we do, let the realization and awareness that God's quality of peace and calmness is right here, right now with us. And we can enjoy it and experience it as we choose. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. It was beautiful. And being in this silence, realizing our real essence, particularly on a Friday evening when we were in the doing and in the being, in the talking, and in this silence where you brought us, we really realize who we are, our true nature. Thank you, Paul. And so here now, let me just share my screen. This is what we are going to get into, because Kerith was talking to everyone and she was saying who Connie was. And in this moment here today, we want to talk about what Connie came to remind us. So we have a little moment for every one of us, the practitioners, to say what Connie came to remind me. And so I pass it on to Paul again. So he will start this moment.
Thank you, Flaminia. And welcome everybody to this sharing of who Connie was. And actually not only what Connie was, but what she came to remind us. And Connie did not come to remind us in a formal way of what we already knew. She did it in a very informal way, in our sharing, in our discussions. That's how she was able to pass this message. And the message being that there was nothing new she had come to teach us. She had just come to remind us of what we already knew and maybe have forgotten, and what was already there, the truth that was already there. And I personally, what I would like to share that Connie came to remind me is to be authentic and to be myself. There was a time that we were sharing with Connie, we were just sharing my life experiences. And after a lengthy talk, after sharing, she told me, Paul, I don't know what exactly you have been doing, but whatever you have been doing, continue doing it. I felt empowered by this statement of Connie, because she made me realize that spirit is resident in me. That whatever it is that I've been doing in terms of addressing my needs of life, I was always guided by spirit. So she came to remind me that I just needed to be myself. I needed to be authentic. I didn't need to copy anybody, because God was expressing itself in me. I'm really grateful for Connie for this realization. And I always find encouragement in the awareness that spirit expresses itself in me and as me. Thank you. And I pass it on to Flaminia.
Thank you, Paul. So for me, Connie came to remind me that I am spirit in action. So the first time that she did a treatment for me, I was skeptical and I was ready to keep one ear open and one other ear closed because I didn't know what she was going to do. And then, well, both ears of mine opened up like radars, capturing the signal from the cosmos, from the universe. And that first treatment, I will always remember it because she allowed me to breathe out of stupor and relief at the same time. At the time, even though I'd been on a life journey whereby I started recognizing signals of spirit, intuition, manifestation, I was also still imbued with so many beliefs about life and how things should be. I was imbued with prejudice, with family inherited beliefs, race consciousness, hidden beliefs, and I fully lived at the level of conditions. My deep, deep belief were that I had to sort things out. I had to fight, I had to struggle, and life was made of obligations, and my only power was in my rational mind. So I was asleep in the realm of condition. I was in full duality, me and the rest. And I was rationally in the victimhood that was to be fought at all cost. Until I had a breakdown and Connie was telling me it's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. And I used to look at her and I was like, what is this that she's telling me? And she kept on saying, this is not a breakdown, this is a breakthrough. So Connie came to remind me that nothing was about me. It was all about spirit in action through me, in me, and as me. So she did the first treatment for me, and I woke up from the illusion. I realized that I was not alone, that it was not me who had to sort things out. And she came to remind me that my deep truth is spirit, and that I could change all that I believed with my trained thoughts. I should just have to surrender, let go, and make space. Connie came to remind me that I was like a hose, and if I allowed myself to open, I could let the energy of life flow through me with more power than ever. And that energy was the source of creation. The realization that I had not to do it all out of my strength was my best relief ever. Energy was my ally, and I started remembering that it had always been. So I remembered images and messages that I had received, and it all started making sense. Connie came to remind me that all in life is a choice. When she started talking to me from the couch with the rings and the cats and her centeredness, and she told me, well, that's a choice. Sometimes I stared at her and couldn't understand, but deep, deep down inside, I knew that she was talking the truth. Connie came to remind me that some things are relative and some things are the truth, and they are immutable. And what is immutable is nothing more than spirit in action, and that is perfect and infinitely good. And I pass it to Nancy.
Thank you, Flaminia. Well, for me, Connie came to remind me that freedom is my birthright. When I met her, I was at a place where I was feeling stuck. And I was feeling stuck because I was immersed in strong race consciousness. And I felt that I did not belong to myself. I was playing small, I was helpless, and I was blaming everyone else. And I felt that because of my traditional background, I belonged to a certain place because they owned me. And that used to really make her mad. She told me, Nancy, nobody can own you. You're powerful. Step into your power. And it has been a journey. But that is what Connie came to remind me. I was in a place where I didn't know that I was one with God. Separation. And she came to remind me that I am a spiritual being and that we are living in a spiritual universe. And I was just having a human experience. And to me, that was mind-blowing. I had never had anybody say anything like that, but it resonated so much with my spirit, with my everything, that is where I wanted to be. And Connie reminded me that there is only one infinite reality. We can call it by many names, but it is only one. And that it creates everything out of itself, and nothing can exist out of this one. It is the love, the beauty, the compassion, the light, all the attributes of God. And that is what I am made of. And this has been my truth. Every day I wake up and I remind myself, I am made of that God stuff. That is who I am. I'm powerful. I am free. And I learned a different kind of prayer, an affirmative prayer, which felt different. It felt powerful because I was just claiming my truth. I learned meditation. It was a taboo from where I was coming from. It was not acceptable, and I did not know of it. But it is a place where I quiet myself, I listen, and I connect. So today I am powerful. I am one with God, and I am one with everyone and everything. And I have the wisdom and the intelligence to create my life. And I am grateful, so very grateful that Connie and I met one day, sat down, and had a beautiful conversation. Thank you. And I pass it on to Agnes.
For me, Connie came to remind me many things. And I'm reminded that there is a power for good in the universe, that it is available to all. The law is impersonal and all can use it. Having grown up knowing that God lives in heaven and this God favors some and does not favor others, and now being told that this God is everywhere and is in all things and is all things, this created a shift in me. Somewhere within me, I had doubts with what I was being told God is all along. So kind of I was ready to learn this new concept of God, knowing that there is no God out there who is watching over me, and recording my mistakes was profound. On the other hand, the knowing that I am a creator of my experiences was and still is a journey of learning and unlearning what I had learned before. When I'm having negative experiences, I don't have a God to blame, but now I'm able to observe the experience in my life. I now know all experiences are derived from my beliefs, either conscious or unconscious ones, all as part of the race consciousness that surrounds me. The beauty of this is that if I want a better experience, I'm able to work on changing my beliefs so that I can have a desired experience. I now have no God to blame when things don't turn up the way I want them to be. Since this power is for good, if I put positive beliefs in my consciousness, I will get positive experiences. I am no longer living in the victim mentality, but I am an empowered being, knowing I'm responsible for my experiences. And I pass on to Alfred.
Alfred, you need to unmute, please.
Oh, sorry. So after meeting with Connie, this is what came to remind me. Connie came to remind me about my spiritual reality, about God, and understanding God as the center of my being, and knowing the spiritual truth about myself. In that sense, therefore, I was lost in fear, in doubt, judgment, and desperation. Through changing my thoughts, I am found in joy, love, beauty that is serving for my highest good. Connie came to remind me that everything that I need to make me happy is not far away from me, but it is within. And the only thing is for me to open up for it to manifest and have faith, since the law of faith has power to bring everything that I need in life through trusting and believing. Connie came to remind me that it is good to stay steadfast to the channel that I've chosen to be on and never give up. In that sense, that if I need something for my highest good, no matter how the condition may be, I must always stay knocking at my consciousness until every no become yes. And that has been my commitment and my desire. Connie came to remind me that true loving, that is specifically loving from my heart, I create a space for the divine good flow easily and freely without any limitations of fear, doubt, and worries. Connie came to remind me that through accepting myself and living authentically is to awaken the law mind to be in action with the truth and make conscious decisions that are more powerful and express fully beauty, joy, and love. Connie came to remind me that whenever I face challenges in life, I have to go deeply to the divine guidance of clarity through meditations and treatment, since the answer is within. Lastly, Connie came to remind me in order to discover my potentialities, I have to commit myself and surrender myself and choose divine love toward all people and cleanse all the negative memory or thoughts and belief that cause separation between me and the spirit. Thank you. I pass it to Flaminia.
Thank you, Alfred. I think that Kerith is missing. Kerith.
Thank you. Thank you, Flaminia. Connie came to remind me to take back my power. When I met Connie, I was huge on victimhood. I had so many sob stories to tell. And I thought, well, this class is just, it has afforded me another platform to share my sob stories. A man, was I wrong? Connie would have none of that. Connie saw something that I couldn't see in myself. And she'd tell me, stop it, Kerith, take back your power. And she encouraged me to have a bigger idea of God. I had a very limited idea of who God was. And she'd ask me, whom do you think God is? And I would give her this textbook version of whom I thought God was. And she knew I just wanted to come out as very clever, to come off as very clever. And so she sat me down one day. I'd requested for treatment. And so she sat me down and asked me, whom do you see God as? And tell me the truth. And in my mind, I'd grown up with this image of God as an elderly Caucasian grandfather who lived in the sky. And every time she told me God lived in and through me, I couldn't see it. I was a victim with very many sob stories. I'd been through so much, and I just wanted her to babysit me and tell me it was going to be okay. But she said no, because she saw something else that in that point in time, I was not willing or ready to see. And she asked me to keep showing up. Just keep showing up, Kerith. Show up for the classes. You're cultivating something, it might not feel like it, but there's something that is happening. And so I kept showing up, and I kept showing up. And she reminded me that I am the operant power in my life. No one is doing anything to me. I was not a victim. Nothing was being done to me. And when I learned to take my power back and own up and take responsibility for my life and my life experiences, then something in me will shift. I couldn't see it, but I kept coming. I kept showing up, and I kept showing up every single day, and something began to shift. At the beginning, I couldn't see it, but something began to shift. I started feeling powerful. I was no longer that person that was forced to fit into this box, into this little cage that society said I was. And I began to make decisions for myself, empowering decisions. I began to see the woman that I could be if I showed up authentically as the presence of God. And every day I showed up. At times I didn't feel like it. At times I'd skip class and she'd call me and tell me to take a makeup class. And we do it again and again. And I started seeing myself. The mud started shifting. The fog started clearing. And I thought, whoa, who is that? Who is that person? And I looked back one day and I couldn't recognize that person that joined the discovery class in 2018. I couldn't recognize who that person was because I'd changed. I had started to remember. It was always within me. I'd just forgotten who I was. And Connie was helping me. She was helping me open my eyes. She was helping me to clear the fog and see that person that was always there, but buried under a pile of stories, false beliefs, limited perception on who I truly was. Those are just stories that I've been telling myself. Nothing about that was true. And so I started waking up to who I truly was. And I'm honestly loving the person that I am, that is being revealed and unfolding each and every day. And so for that, I am truly grateful for Connie for reminding me who I am. Thank you.
So this was the beautiful sharing from the six of us. We all have our own stories, and then you can see Connie was really a pillar among ourselves. And now I would like to pass it on to Reverend Gwen for our next song, I Am the Place Where God Lives.
So I'm just going to ask you all to embrace these words, because this is what Connie would have said to you sitting right in front of you. Am I strong enough to bear the burden that sometimes comes living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decision when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I can't do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have enough of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God is, moves and lives and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. You are the place. We are the place where God shows up.
Thank you, Gwen. That's
I'm
beautiful.
still hearing the bass in my head.
It's so difficult to sing. Oh, wow. That's lovely. Beautiful. And now is the time for our meditation, for our affirmations. So I'm going to share the screen. Here we are. And I pass it on to Alfred to lead the meditation, the affirmations.
Okay, thank you. So asking each and every one of you to unmute yourself and repeat after me this affirmation. I am the foundations of God's peace here right now.
I am
the foundation of God's peace right here, right
now.
The God is mine within me. Create only which is perfect.
the God
God mind within me
creates
creates
only
that which is perfect.
I am grateful and at peace, as I know Spirit is my source.
I
I
am
am
grateful
grateful and at peace, as I know Spirit is my source.
I am a conduit of God's ever-present, loving abundance.
I am a
conduit of
God's
ever-lavish
abundance.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Alfred. Here we are. So in this moment, I will share again, and I will pass it on to Nancy.
Thank you, Flaminia. And now I welcome you all to recognize that the law of circulation does include both giving and receiving. And CSL Kenya relies solely on donations. So I invite you to go to our website, cslkenya.org, click on Change for Change, and you can specifically designate your donation. We also have the Kenya M-Pesa number, which is on screen, 0799159943. You can also send your donations there, and thank you. So I would, at this moment, like to ask you to all hold your hand over your heart and repeat after me. Freely I give.
Really, I give.
Really, I give,
Knowing that everything comes back to me.
knowing that everything comes back to me,
Blessed and multiplied.
blessed and multiplied.
Back to you.
What it is.
Thank you, Nancy. And in this moment, as we have been talking about Connie since the beginning of this Froggy Friday, I would like to share a video of Connie and what she was doing in Nairobi, Kenya. She used to teach children. She went to the schools and she was there with them to talk about the truth. And so bear with me and I will bring it up. I hope you can see. Can you see? Yes? Yes. I'm enlarging it. Perfect.
Did you share sound, Flaminia? Come out of the share screen.
It's actually on mute on the video as well. Just maybe press unmute.
Okay.
That might work.
Try
Now
play
that-
again.
Try it again.
There it is.
I think it's her headset.
Oh.
Very nice. How many of you would like to sing that song? Okay. Should we teach it?
You can't. They don't have classes today. This on Friday, we are like here. Yes, I told them now because we have a visitor, we are not going to play. So we don't have classes.
Okay, so let's learn that song again. Now, do you want to come back up? I need to show them the hand movements. Come on. And we're going to teach them. Okay. You are the face of God. Do you want to stand up? Stand up. We can sing that when we're standing. Okay. You are the face of God. I hope you be
A bit up.
Oh.
This is who Connie was. And now I will, sorry. And now I would like to pass it on to Agnes for a final benediction.
Okay. Join me as we know this truth. We are grateful for the session that we've had. This amazing Froggy Friday, we have learned and we have expanded our consciousness. As we leave this meeting, we go knowing that oneness is within us. As we part, we know we are still one. Till we meet again, and so it is. And I pass it on to Flaminia.
Thank you. So here I am to remind you that before we completely close this Froggy Friday, whoever wants, we will open some breakout rooms for prayer. So if anyone needs prayer, you can raise the hand or send a message in a chat or put a message, a thumb up, and we will create the breakout rooms and we can have some minutes miracle prayer. So don't hesitate, just write it down in the chat. And before that, I would also like to pass it on to Gwen for any additional remark, to Gwen and Barb, both of them.
I'd love to jump in. Oh, my heart is swelled. You have taken me on an emotional roller coaster, and I am so profoundly grateful. First off, I asked for us to have more than one page, and we've got 2 pages of participants today. So bless all of you who have shown up and come out to support our practitioners. Each one of you have taken me to a place of inspiration and fulfillment and memory. As you all know, Connie was my very first teacher in this teaching. And she would be and is so proud of all what we have created. And so having said that, I have to look behind the scenes and recognize those people who are holding our practitioners up. Michelle and Karen, as you teach, as you lead, as you support, as you embrace and hold the high watch, my heart is just ripped wide open with kindness and love and respect and gratitude. Each and every one of us today who has come to show up to be more than who we are, obviously, like Connie taught us, and never more than less who we were meant to be. Today we raised the bar, we elevated, we took it to a whole nother level. And I am so profoundly, deeply grateful for everyone who has shown up and just been present with us to receive the wisdom, the heart, the message of love that we espouse every Froggy Friday. I want to remind us that we're back in 2 more weeks for Froggy Friday. Let's continue to fill these pages. I also want to let you know that Reverend Gwen is coming to see you in October, and then we're both coming back in March. So we have a whole bunch of life to be celebrating that is purposeful, that is intentional, that is in this beautiful community that we call CSL Kenya. I thank you. I bless you. I'm so grateful. And you know what I always say? I love us. I love us. I love us. I love us.
And I'm going to include Reverend Claire and all that as well with the teaching and the back.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Never forgotten. Never forgotten.
This is good God's work, everyone. Thank you. And ditto everything what Barb said. Bless you. And we have raised the bar. So here we go. What do you say? Let's put on our spiritual seatbelts because we are stepping up and stepping out, leaning in. Thank you for all being here. Bless your hearts.
Bless you.
Thanks to Flaminia, to Paul, to Alfred, to Kerith, Nancy, and Agnes. Beautiful job. You know, the best is yet to come.
God is good all the time. And
All the time, God is good.
God is good. Bravo. Bravo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Lucia is brand new. So Lucia and Christopher, we're going to send you into breakout rooms with Agnes and Flaminia. When I open it, the others don't need to go just yet. Okay. We'll see if we need other rooms open. So
Goodbye,
We can
everyone.
stop
It's sign
recording.
off.
I'm just going to.
Love you deeply. Thank you for joining us. My